Hello, beautiful humans of the interwebs. Welcome to eSpot Live. My name is Ellie. This is Rodney. Welcome. This stream, I'm starting this stream with a raiding party, so that is absolutely amazing. Welcome, guys. Thank you for coming. Woohoo! This is super exciting. Raid Shadow Legends is here from Demigod. I don't know if I've met you yet, Demigod. Hello, welcome. This is so fun! Happy Monday! I was actually kind of freaking out a little bit starting this today, but this is a good start, so thank you guys. I did my kind of basic welcome. I always start these with disclaimers for those of you who might be new. There's always something. There is always something that goes a little wonky. Oh, Pandamental has a surprise. That's scary. Woohoo! I'm excited. I'm only a little bit nervous. Man, this is such a good start to the stream. Thank you guys so much. But I do want to get the disclaimers out there. Oh my gosh! Wait. Do we have a Rodney emote? Oh my gosh. Guys, that is amazing. Look at it. I am, like, horrendously distracted. That's it. That's the show today. We have a Rodney emote. Oh my gosh, I have no words for how happy that makes me. Rodney, you done good. Look at that. See? See, it's right there. You can see it on the screen. Yay! That's amazing. Oh my gosh, that makes me so beyond happy. Oh gosh. Okay, yeah, focusing. Sorry. Thank you. That just makes me so happy. Okay, disclaimers. I am getting a notification that the stream is not running as smoothly as it should be, and so I don't actually know how that's looking on your end, but please keep me updated in the chat if anything seems to go horrendously wrong. It doesn't look like it's dropping necessarily. Again, for those of you who have watched before, every now and again, my internet just decides to not. And sometimes it's weather related, and sometimes it's, I don't even know. But yeah, so TNT Huskies let me know that the video is a little choppy, but audio is fine. That's good. Okay. I mean, it's not good, but that's kind of the info I was hoping for. So as long as the audio keeps up, I apologize for the choppy video. Everything was running smoothly until I started the live stream, which always happens. So yes, just let me know in the chat again if anything drops, if anything's like, if it becomes unwatchable or anything like that, please let me know. I'll do everything I can to fix it. But yeah, that's the biggest disclaimer of the day. The second disclaimer of the day is that there's noise outside today. It actually seems to have died down just before I started the stream, so that's good news. Here's to hoping that that'll be smooth. But if anything wonky happens, it's outside. So sorry for that. That's all I have for disclaimers for today. So with that, and the knowledge that there's a Rodney emote, oh my gosh, he's so cute. Little bug eyes. Aw, I love you, Rodney. Rodney, for those of you again who are new-ish to the stream, Rodney is my emotional support duck. He joins me on each of my streams, and and he makes me happy. Clearly, hopefully he makes you guys happy too. Now there's a emote for it. All right. All that being said, the purpose of eSpot Live is for me to babble about entertainment news. And again, I'll emphasize the babble about, but we do talk about news here. So I'm going to jump into the topics I'm meant to be speaking about today, and we'll see how this goes. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming and for watching and for being excited in the chat. This is going to be an amazing day. Yay! All right. First thing that I have to chat about is a a little bit of new information on new payment deals for filmmakers, specifically in this ongoing kind of confusion, I guess, with like HBO Max and the way that films will be releasing this year. Some new and kind of exciting news that HBO Max is doing movie releases a little differently. So instead of there being theatrical releases and then further deals with streaming services way in the future and stuff like that, because of the ongoing global pandemic, things are changing a little bit, and HBO Max released information that they were essentially going to do simultaneous releases. So not only will you be able to go to the theaters in some places where it's safe and view theatrical releases as you normally would, but for those of us who are unable to, or living in places where it's not safe, you can stream it at the same time. It will be released on the day of its release. It'll be released on streaming services on the same day that it's released in theaters. Hello, the John is here. Welcome. Good to see you in the chat. So yeah, that's really interesting information. And then one of the things that I was interested in, and I know I wasn't kind of the only one in thinking about how that was going to work, was how payment was going to work. Because for anyone familiar with how theatrical releases really work, the determining factor of whether or not film is successful is typically in its box office release and the money it makes in theaters within the first weekend of its release. And so this knowledge that it's going to be released online at the same time as in person, and this also, again, knowledge that theater releases are not going to be what they have been in the past this year. They're just not. They can't be. I was very curious about how people were going to get paid, like how that was going to work. So, we've got a bit new information. A bit of English is hard. It doesn't matter. You guys know what I mean. So the information that I have is, according to multiple reports now, Warner Bros. Is working on specific deals for new payments to filmmakers and their crews due to the studio's absolutely unprecedented move to make all 17 of its theatrically released movies slated for 2021 available concurrently for a 1-month exclusive window on HBO Max. So again, this means theater release at the same exact time they're launching the release on HBO Max, and it's there's an exclusive window, etc. So these deals that they're making are going to be based partly on HBO Max streaming fees, and as stated by Bloomberg, to increase the odds of performance-based bonuses. So, according to that specific piece, anyone entitled to a bonus will receive one at half the box office revenue that would normally be needed to trigger a payout. And if more theaters close down, then the threshold will fall further, which is a stipulation being called the COVID-19 multiplier. So that means that those who would normally participate in the profits from that box office release and those receipts will continue to do so, as well as benefiting from the on-demand and online sales. And that's going to, again, be based on how much they're impacted by COVID-19 with theater closures. So that means that the cast, crew, all of the profit participants in filmmaking will get paid out from the fee that HBO's structure may work into to be appeasing the monetary gains. Again, English is hard. Oh my gosh. Okay, so essentially the payout's going to come from the fee that HBO Max is paying directly to Warner Bros. For each individual movie. This new payout is, it's most likely not gonna, necessarily help with the creative objections. But yeah, so the idea is they'll still get the box office release, but acknowledging the fact that that's not going to cover the fees of filmmaking, they're also going to get a cut from HBO that's being paid directly to Warner Bros., which is the studio they're partnering with to do all of these releases online. Worth noting that there's kind of other drama in the background because, it's the entertainment industry. When is there not drama in the background? So again, it's mostly in the form of creative objections. So directors like Christopher Nolan and Denis Villeneuve have clashed with Warner Bros. As well as HBO Max, and so it's interesting to see kind of how that's gonna levy into this whole system. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and I'm gonna keep watching to see how, again, this year in particular and the way that we're releasing things is going to impact the film industry monetarily, because that plays a massive role into future projects as well. And it's worth noting that depending on how this year goes and how sales go and everything else, this will also impact the future of releases. If something is super successful, even if it's born of, crazy circumstances like a global pandemic, then it stands to reason that it'll continue on, right? So, I'm curious to watch this unfold and to see if this turns into a successful way to release movies, because, generally speaking, that's just good news for introverts, whether or not there's a pandemic on. You get to make your own popcorn and, limit who's sitting next to you and control who's sitting next to you while you watch a release. But yeah, silliness aside, there's a lot riding on this, and whether or not it's successful. Films are essentially constant gambles. If you get the right director, if you get the right actors, if you have enough the right studio, then people are probably going to watch the film just because there's trust in those creatives. But it doesn't necessarily guarantee a successful film. And anytime a film is made, there's a lot of money put into it before anything about it is known by the public. And so again, any film is a gamble, and typically, the more you gamble on a particular film, the more likely it is to be successful, because you have more resources at the beginning. You have the ability to do better editing, have better equipment, all that jazz goes into it. But again, historically speaking, those films that are spending millions and millions of dollars on production rely so heavily on box office releases that, it's interesting to see what's going to happen with this, with the whole deal with HBO Max. And also HBO Max is putting out a lot on this too. It's such a fascinating kind of bet going on right now. They're betting that this is going to be successful. They're betting that people are going to go on HBO Max and purchase these exclusive deals in order to watch these films during this window that they would normally go out to theaters for. And they're making that bet that can match box office release income, essentially. So again, I, for one, am super curious to see how this works, because it will impact the future of this massive industry. And, here's to hoping that it works at least, well enough to pay the people who have been putting years of effort into these pieces. G-Man in the chat saying, "Oh, I heard about this. The studio's threatening to sue." That's interesting. Which aspect are you talking about? The studios are threatening to sue, theaters for closing, or essentially HBO Max for grabbing and latching onto the deal? Let me know in the chat, because I'm a little bit confused there. But there's a lot of money on the line. So an example of just kind of how much we're talking about monetarily, according to Forbes, Warner Bros. Recently blocked a deal that would have seen Legendary sell their film to Netflix for $225 million right before that announcement that was made to the studio's 2021 film slate being sold to HBO Max. So if... Yeah, the deal that was blocked and rejected was $225 million for a single film. So that kind of gives you a scope of how much HBO Max is putting on the line for an entire film slate, for 17 films. It's big. It's a massive, massive gamble. But the assumption that HBO Max is putting out there, that Warner Bros. Is putting out there, is that they can match, or at least enough, that box office release to make it worth streaming. And so G-Man saying the lawsuits is for studios are threatening to sue for streaming because they're expecting to get lower proceeds for streaming than in theaters. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think everybody's a little bit nervous, and there's a lot going on. So this is the HBO Max deal with Warner Bros. Is kind of the precedent-setting deal I think that a lot of people are looking to, because if it's successful, if they are able to match those proceeds that they would get from those theater releases, then that's gonna, again, be hugely impactful in the industry. So yeah, fascinating stuff, or at least I think it's fascinating. Hopefully it's at least a little interesting for you guys. And that's all I really have on that particular topic, unless y'all have more comments, in which case, please do share. While y'all are thinking about that, next up to chat about is a fascinating thing going on Twitter right now, which is yet another brand new, I guess, way to go about playing through Pokemon Red. So I talked again a bit ago about precedent-setting fish that made the playthrough of Pokemon. It was the first fish to win the game. So now people are trying something else, a little different. And how this is working is there's a massive group of Twitter users who are playing through Pokemon Red entirely through another user's avatar. The game's not going so well, by the way. It's happening, but So essentially, you know, okay, with the launch of PS5, Xbox Series X, all this, there's smooth frame rates, there's cutting-edge graphics technology. It's kind of easy to forget how far technology has come in such a short time. It wasn't too long ago that many people thought games like Doom were, like, the best gaming could possibly get, and now Doom can run on anything from, like, Mario Bros. Game & Watch to a pregnancy test, apparently. So Pokemon Red is one of those things that's playable on so many different platforms in so many different ways, and now it's playable on Twitter. Not really in a traditional sense, but still. So, a group of Twitter users have banded together to try and complete the game through another user's avatar. So, specifically, Twitter user Constantine Leotard is a 3D programmer at Gameloft Montreal and has managed to develop a script that continuously changes his Twitter avatar to different still images throughout the game, which allows users to take control of Red's journey. Twitter users can comment in the embedded thread what they want Red to do, and after 15 seconds, the avatar will change in correspondence with the most popular command. This has been really interesting, and the reason it's not going so well necessarily from, like, a gaming standpoint, it's working, but, like, from actually trying to move through the game, is because it's led to some really baffling decisions. So, you know, this includes being stuck near the coffee-deprived old man in Viridian City for over 15 minutes, somehow navigating to the options menu to turn off battle animations. It's been a journey, guys. So the thread currently has over 12,000 comments, and Red is just now leaving Pallet Town. It's also worth noting that the thread was also reset fairly recently, just to allow users to comment alongside their command. And Twitter has also managed to make a fairly impressive amount of progress in only 3 hours. So it's going to be interesting to see. It would be amazing if we get to see the playthrough go the whole way through, though it might take weeks for that with the rate that they're going right now. This isn't the first time, you know, this idea with other users commenting on a chat to do the playthrough being put to action. So it was previously attempted by an Australian programmer back in 2014. Didn't use Twitter, he instead used Twitch's chat room to play the game. That was just about as popular as the Twitter playthrough currently is, and it reached an average viewership total of around 80,000 people. That particular Twitch playthrough took 16 days of continuous gameplay in order to reach the credits. But safe to say that this Twitter playthrough is going to take a bit longer. So good luck, Twitter. You're going to need it. If that's something that interests you, you can check it out. Twitter users playing Pokemon Red. It's interesting to watch for sure. Especially, like, I just love, you know, you set up an algorithm like that to, again, obey this most popular command, and you have no clue what you're going to get. So that's just super fun from, like, from that standpoint. G-Bud saying, this reminds me of Twitch Plays Pokemon. Yeah. So it's happened before, but it's always fun to see it on a new platform, especially kind of, again, like, why is this one so much less successful? Well, I don't want to say less successful, because the purpose of this experiment is to play the game on Twitter. So it's working. They're just not getting very far. So it's interesting if it's like just the sense of humor of users on Twitch versus Twitter or what, but yeah, it's super fun. Also, I want to take a second to go to Silly Fun's comment on the topic, the HBO topic. So Silly Fun saying, with HBO, I think they lost a lot of consumer confidence with Game of Thrones and the confusing switching over between HBO Go, HBO Now, and HBO Max. That's actually also a really good point with this. So again, with the whole situation being, with that whole particular situation being a bit of a gamble, not only are they gambling success in the face of trying something new in a history of box office releases, but they're gambling that success in the face of you know, people having lost that kind of consumer confidence in the past. So if this works, then it's going to work very, very well for HBO Max. And if it doesn't work, it's going to be very bad news for a whole lot of people. So again, we're going to keep an eye out on that just to kind of see how it goes, because it's interesting. So yeah, there we go. Moving on to the next topic I have, and this is something that kind of like, I don't know, it's interesting, so I'm gonna jump in. This particular one's about Pewdiepie. So Pewdiepie is a very, very well-known streamer, who has officially decided to take a break from YouTube. So after taking a break from daily streams back in 2020, this 31-year-old streamer, Pewdiepie, is set to step away again from his channel this year. So typically, Pewdiepie streams every single day, but now he's stepping away for a bit in order to reset, catch some rest, etc. He's been dropping hints about another vacation for quite a while now, but made this official announcement last Friday. So he posted a new message to his channel on YouTube confirming that he is officially heading on vacation. He explained during a stream earlier this year, every other job in the world gets holidays, vacations, etc. So he needs to do the same as a content creator. So in his official post that he wrote, he said, I forgot to mention a few things. I'm taking some time off to chill. And also mentioned that we managed to donate over 900,000 USD to charities from streams since starting this year. Proud to say thanks to you guys. We can make an impact on the world. So yeah, Pewdiepie is known for his streams, for his philanthropy, etc. Super successful streamer. So this is an interesting topic because I feel like there's a lot of, I don't know if I can say unexpected backlash, but there's a decent amount of backlash, I feel like, when streamers in particular and content creators decide to step away to take a break. So again, he's been talking about it for a while, you know, mentioning on his different streams, on his Minecraft stream on Wednesday, he said that a vacation was on the horizon. And then also mentioned in that same kind of talk, you know, I might not stream for a while either, just to take some full time off, come back fully charged. I'll be offline for, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, I don't know. And acknowledge, you know, I know it's kind of a ball buster to end here, but I don't really take breaks and I feel like I need it. So last time he took a break like this. He stepped away from January 15th of 2020 until February 21st. So the sabbatical lasted for about 37 days in total. He's not yet revealed how long this one's gonna last, but, you know, we're assuming about a month. So yeah, I think that this is so incredibly important because I've seen this throughout my time as a consumer, where you just kind of watch streamers get burnt out. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that this is just so content creating in this way, especially with something like streaming, which is something you do regularly. And if you're a full-time streamer, that's literally your life, just constant streaming, daily streaming. And people, I think there's this idea that it's for fun. And it is fun, but that does not mean it's not work. And I just think that there's a lot of just strange mindsets on that. I think any artist ever has had to deal with, at least in modern society, has had to deal with that idea that, like, you know, arguing with people about whether or not it's real work, or whether or not they deserve breaks, or, you know, healthcare, insurance, basic necessities. And with this rise of content creator, when you're literally kind of controlling your own, really you're controlling everything. You're your own agent, your own manager, your own scheduler, and all of that. And if you get big enough, sure, you can have people jump in to help you with that. But there's still this expectation of constancy, which is sad to me. Even, like I said, as a consumer, this expectation that these people have to be constantly on and cannot take a break is crazy. Because, you know, when a streamer starts off, then yeah, sure, like, for the first chunk of time, you know, that makes sense. And then it's been months, and then suddenly it's been years, and then suddenly this person's been just burning themselves out, literally, without taking a break. And then they face backlash, sometimes from their audience and sometimes just from their streaming services, for taking a break. So if you break that algorithm with uploads, then you know, it makes it harder to continue when you jump back in at that same level. So yeah, this is just a topic that you know, I think is super important. Good for Pewdiepie. I'm glad that he's taking a break. I'm glad that he's able to, that he feels confident enough to. And I think it's just, I would rather see a content creator take a month off every year, or even more often, like however often they need to recharge, to be a human. Because like I said, whether or not, you know, you really think about it, this is work. So I'd rather see a streamer, you know, take the time that they need, take care of themselves on and off screen, and then be able to come back charged, than, you know, what I've seen where you have somebody streaming consistently for, like I said, years, and then just getting completely burnt out, and then you never see them again. And from a consumer standpoint, that's just kind of sad, but from a human standpoint, it's dangerous. So yeah, I just want to normalize taking breaks, normalize vacations, especially, like, I feel like in the United States, there's just this expectation that life is work and your value is in how much time and energy and all these things that you spend working, but work only applies to certain things. So like I said, artists have to fight for, like, acknowledgement that what they do is work, because it's not the same type of work as sitting in an office. So yeah, in a culture that kind of, like, has normalized working being the center of existence, I think it's so cool to see people, even in creative, or especially in creative fields, normalize taking a break, and taking care of themselves and humanity in addition to artistry. So yeah, that's why I wanted to chat about that particular topic. Moving right along. Next up, I've got some filming news. Yay! This year obviously has been, or this past year, I suppose, has been bit of a cluster fluff for filming, with the, you know, pandemic and whatnot, and things kind of being closed down, but then reopening and then having to close down yet again, especially in the LA area. We've noticed, and I talked about in Thursday's show, a lot of filming has been I want to say hiatus, but that's not the word. It's been they pulled the plug again temporarily. I don't know why I can't word. It's fine. Everything's fine. So in good news with filming, the Borderlands movie is slated to begin filming very soon. Yay! So Eli Roth's Borderlands movie is prepping to go all in production-wise under the Lionsgate helm. Reports have been circulating heavily of comedian Kevin Hart's involvement. So people are very cautiously interested in how this is going to turn out. So with COVID-19 lockdown restrictions continuing on into this new year, a lot of aspects of the entertainment industry, specifically with movies and filming, have come under question. But it looks like the studio is prepping to begin filming very soon. And they're doing that by going to Budapest in Hungary. So Mid-Atlantic Films head Adam Goodman recently sat down with the folks of The Hollywood Reporter to chat about, what's next for that upcoming movie. And so that's when they kind of announced, we're opening up a space for a Lionsgate film, Borderlands. And we're doing season 3 of Jack Ryan for Paramount TV. We're doing a Marvel project, which for obvious reasons I can't talk about. So we're basically fully booked for the coming cycle over the summer, which hopefully will be the last cycle shows we have to do under these COVID-19 protocols. So yeah, it's going to be super interesting to see more information about the film as it starts pushing into production, as the full cast list will be super fun, as well as what Kevin Hart's role is going to be in it. So this move to Hungary has been a very popular choice for many in film and TV due to its place within the pandemic. Hungary was a location that was among the last to implement lockdown restrictions due to low infection numbers as at the start of the spread. So that allowed for a lot of filming to commence. Their government was also very proactive with taking measures to overcome the virus once it did hit, with heavy focus on getting industries like the film industry back up and running safely. So director Eli Roth of Borderlands said, "I am so excited to dive into the world of Borderlands, and I could not be doing it with a better script, producing team, and studio. I have a long, successful history with Lionsgate. I feel like we've grown up together, and that everything in my directing career has led to a project of this scale and ambition. I look forward to bringing my own energy, ideas, and visions to the wild, fun, and endlessly creative world of the game. Randy Pitchford and everyone at Gearbox have been incredibly supportive of my ideas. It really feels like a perfect storm of creators coming together. We're out to make a new classic, one which the fans of the game will love, but also one which will find a new audience globally." So, again, hopefully we're going to see more information about this soon. And super excited that people are able to, jump back into production safely. Interesting in a kind of global society how that looks, right? Because while traditionally you have a lot of studios in kind of more well-known areas, when you think of production, typically people think Los Angeles. Some people might think Vancouver or things like that. But we're seeing a lot of studios in I don't want to say lesser known places, but I guess places lesser known for filmmaking. Over the past several years, we've seen a lot more like an uptick in filming in Australia on the Gold Coast and things of that nature, in the Brisbane area, in different European areas, in Hungary and Budapest. And so I feel like it's very interesting to see these places come to light and become these new standards for filming locations, just because of what's going on with the pandemic, because this is an area where it's safer, where there's less of a local uptick in cases, etc. So it'll be interesting again to see not only if this is able to go smoothly, but also how that then impacts the future of filmmaking. I've said it before, and just again, like, a lot of what we're seeing, that is coming into effect specifically due to the pandemic, if it's successful, will create long-term changes within the industry. So something to keep an eye out, something I'm super excited about. I love to see things getting filmed, but I also love to see it happening safely. I mentioned last time, you know, with all the closures happening in the Los Angeles area, I can't be mad about it, even though as a consumer I'm like, oh, that's a bummer, there's delays again. But at the same time, like, thank goodness they're being safe, because Los Angeles doesn't seem to be in a very good spot right now. So yeah, exciting stuff. Things are continuing to be produced, but they're doing so safely in other locations. Silly Fun's mentioning Central Europe has a lot of beautiful and diverse environments that can double as other places. That's also very true. Like I said, there's filming happens in a lot of places in the world, but I feel like in the US we have a very kind of LA-centric view of how things have to be done. So it's really, really cool to see these other locations being utilized. And it'll, like I said, be super cool for the future of filmmaking in that aspect. And then Silly Fun's also saying, and strong healthcare systems in most of the countries. Again, very important for filming. What a lot of people don't realize with the filming industry, and this is for television and film sets and everything else, is how many people are involved, which is one of the reasons why the pandemic has been hugely impactful. And this is, you know, gaming industry as well. So this is across the entertainment industry, but I feel like it's come to light more so in that specific, like, film industry. Because you look at a regular old TV show, just kind of a 20-minute sitcom, and you're easily seeing 200 to 300 people involved in that weekly production. And that's just kind of on a regular show. That's not necessarily, like, we're not talking something like, I don't know, Grey's Anatomy, which has massive production, massive scale, and has been around for a very long time, so has the budget for it. We're just talking like your regular old startup, like, sitcoms. Maybe mildly successful, maybe season 1, season 2, hundreds of people are involved in that. And that's like on set, like actively in the same place at the same time. And so when you think about like a feature film, you know, who actually sits there and counts out the number of names in the credits, because there's a lot of people involved. And yes, some of them are going to be in an office, some of them are going to be, you know, post-production working on the film in that aspect, but a lot of them are on set. There's a lot of people involved. So in order to kind of do this safely, you have to be in a place where, you know, there's less risk of a virus spreading. You have to, you know, do things with certain precautions in place. So again, I am super stoked for the future of filmmaking, because I'm just really hopeful of it, and I'm excited to see other studios around the world getting their time to shine, and having that happen in like mainstream media as well. Like we're seeing it happen. It's not like it's never happened before. People do film on location or at different places in the world. It happens, but like, I don't know. I just feel like I said, there's this idea that everything happens in Los Angeles, and it's cool to see that. Yes, a lot happens in Los Angeles, and there's massive impact there, but things are also happening other places. So, yay for filming starting back up again, and for production being jumped into, woohoo! But also, yay for it being done safely, and in places where they can better accommodate large groups of people safely. So, woohoo! Alright, I think this is a great time to jump into the hydrate or dihydrate break of the day. If y'all are new, I have a thing about lecturing people to drink water. Why? I don't know. It just kind of sort of happened. Your kidneys are important. I learned that the hard way. So please make sure you take just a couple of minutes, drink some water. Whenever I jump into this topic, there's always somebody in the chat bringing up their favorite beverage of choice. So Jedi Roxy, if you're out there, chocolate milk is not water. It's delicious, good, great. I'm all for drinking chocolate milk, but also your body needs water. So this is my soapbox. This is my lecture. Drink some water. I will be right back. the chat, first of all, and most importantly, and always, the Rodney emote. Oh my gosh, that's making me so happy. You don't even know. That's amazing. So, yeah. And then also G-Man's comments. Boo. G-Man said, was joking around, drinking milk instead of water. Kidneys shutting down. Gasp. I appreciate the drama. I do. But alas. Anyways. Yeah, drama's always fun, but at the same time, water, guys. It's a good thing. All right. Yes, your kidney's not going to shut down if you drink milk. But if you, technically speaking, if you only drink milk and never drink water, I don't know if it would be your kidney. Something would shut down. Shoot. Milk is great. I'm a fan of milk. I had some this morning with my coffee. Unless you're lactose intolerant, then milk is not so good. Or vegan. Anyways, that's a rabbit hole that, like, I could get super distracted on. I say I could get, as if I'm not already super distracted. Anyways, yes. Beverages are good. Water is necessary for us to live, so do that too. ¿Por qué no los dos? Just both. That's all I ask. Just both. Alright. Focusing on newsy topics that I'm meant to be talking about, because eSpot is an entertainment news channel. Next up to chat about is Valve is recruiting, so super fun if that's your thing, but specifically they're recruiting psychologists, which is actually probably a really good idea. So yeah, in order to create a new gaming experiences and technologies, Craft is actively recruiting psychologists at the moment. So, adding on to that, Steam, obviously, if you know anything about gaming, you know about Steam. It is the epitome of PC gaming for Valve's library and its gaming staples like Left 4 Dead, Half-Life, Portal, Team Fortress, etc. So many, all the games. So the company took a long hiatus from making games themselves, but the storefront has never stopped evolving and improving. And it looks like with the return of Half-Life with Alex, that the company is preparing for a big future ahead. In a very recent job posting for Valve, it was noted that the company is actively looking to hire at least one psychologist to help with crafting new gaming experience and technologies going forward. So the job posting reads, Valve is an entertainment and technology company driven to design and deliver world-class entertainment experiences to customers. We hire people with broad skill sets who also exhibit deep expertise. Psychologists at Valve contribute to a wide variety of initiatives across the company and are trusted to prioritize their work in collaboration with their peers. So the listing has several bullet points of what they're looking for. They're expecting the psychologists to be able to craft compelling gameplay experiences for future Valve titles, which again insinuates future Valve titles. Woo! They're expected to, provide that insight on human behavior. So this is to hopefully improve customer experiences on Steam. They're expected to conduct statistical analysis on Valve's gameplay, financial, company data, etc. to identify specific patterns of behavior. So really they're meant to be really involved in all aspects of it on the Steam storefront as well as the games themselves to contribute their expertise, knowledge towards game development, story development, etc. I just think that's super fun. So yeah, it's not necessarily uncommon to rope in somebody with a psychological background or some psychological experience or knowledge when looking at things like consumer behavior, or analyzing what people are looking for out of a particular service or how people are responding to specific things. But we've seen Epic Games Store, upping their games with better cut for developers, constant rotation of free games for players, and things like that. So it's interesting to see, Steam kind of rising to the challenge, I suppose, to constantly improve and not stay stagnant or out of place or anything like that. So yeah, this particular job posting requires not just kind of a basic murky background in psychology, but an actual graduate degree in psychology or related field, with advanced knowledge of statistics, a background in research on the consumer behaviors of a market, and an extensive background in researching cognitive behaviors. So in this attempt to kind of stay up to date with everything, you know, they're not just, like I said, it's not like they're getting a developer who knows a little bit about psychology. They're pulling in like high-end psychologists to really kind of pour into and collaborate with the game building process. I think that's really cool. I'm excited to see if this works out for them. That's like super fun. I don't know. I also like reading that job description. I have a specific friend that I'm like, they could do that. G-Man's mentioning, I know they've been doing work on like tracking player movements and decision making to try to build games around that preemptively. They've done this with Dota 2 and Left 4 Dead. That's cool. Yeah. And that does sound like kind of what they're, you know, moving towards emphasizing. I don't know if that sentence Englished properly, but I know what I mean. But apparently it was successful enough, kind of what they've done in the past with that emphasis to move forward. So if you have a graduate degree in psychology and are interested in gaming, check out Valve, because they're hiring. Yeah, I think that's... I feel like psychology is a lot bigger than you'd originally really think. Obviously, everybody thinks psychology and then therapy and then just kind of one-on-one people or counseling type things, and that's obviously a huge part of psychology, but psychology goes so much further than that. And, you know, in the past decade or so, we've seen an uptick in psychologists being preferred partners for a lot of businesses and people trying to kind of track that consumer model, etc. So bringing them into the gaming world, I think, is a really smart move, because it looks like Valve is not only wanting a psychologist partner in order to look at the consumer model and predictive behaviors and things like that, but also to dive into the gaming process itself. This is my type of nerd. I like it. I love this. So yeah, fun stuff. I'm excited to see how having a psychologist on staff could shape games a little bit differently. So, woohoo! Moving right along. The Iwata Asks book is officially releasing in English come April. Woohoo! Oh, real quick, actually, before I move on, silly fun in the chat. Psychology and philosophy are the building blocks of how we understand society. That is so incredibly true. Yeah, they're really important disciplines that I think a lot of people overlook or, you know, people make jokes of it, myself included at times. But, like, honestly speaking, these studies are so important for human behavior. And obviously, human behavior impacts every industry ever. But, like, the entertainment industry, based on the arts, is something that is deeply influenced by human behavior and psychology and society and like all of these things that psychology studies. So important stuff. I think it's cool. Woohoo! Silly Fun says, I'm excited to see the impact it will have on games, especially horror and open world games. Yes! So true. I concur wholeheartedly. So yeah, now I'll move on to the next topic. So this is a new book, the Iwata Asks book, that features words of wisdom from the late Nintendo president, Satoru Iwata. And it's getting an official English translation and being released later this year, which is super exciting. So the book was originally released in Japan in 2019. It's already up for pre-order, by the way, and it includes his thoughts on diverse subjects, such as locating bottlenecks, how success breeds resistance to change, and why programmers should never say no. The book partially draws from Iwata Asks series of conversations where he himself would contact behind-the-scenes interviews, or conduct, rather, behind-the-scenes interviews with key members of Nintendo's development teams. You can still find that piece on Nintendo's website, the Iwata Asks pieces. The book itself also features conversations with Shigeru Miyamoto and Earthbound creator Shigesato Itoi. So last year, Miyamoto opened up about Iwata's passing, saying, if there is some good-for-nothing idea I come up with over the weekend, I have no one to share it with the next Monday. I can no longer hear him say, oh, about that thing. It's a bit of a problem for me. It makes me sad. And then as for Itoi, Satoru Iwata helped him to save the beloved classic Earthbound from development hell. Iwata famously told the Earthbound development team, if we complete it by fixing what we have now, it will take 2 years. If it is okay to start again from scratch, it can be done in half a year. And yeah, it saved this kind of well-known title. So Iwata Ask Iwata is coming to the US on April 13th. It's selling for $22.99 USD. It will hit the UK on April 15th for £18.99. £18.99. How do you say that in British? I should know this. I was there for a while. Oh well. Iwata died on July 11th of 2015 at the age of 55 after a multi-year battle with a growth on his bile duct. And it was a huge hit for Nintendo and the whole family as a whole. Nintendo added a heartfelt tribute at the end of 2016's Star Fox Zero, which said, this game is dedicated to our wingmen who fell in battle. So, just incredibly brilliant person, incredibly brilliant insight, and fascinating information that I'm excited to read. So yeah, if that's something that interests you, pre-orders are available. Check it out. Moving right along. Got a little bit of information about some changes in the Star Wars universe. So that's super fun. Star Wars has officially announced Lucasfilm Games as the official identity for all gaming titles from Lucasfilm. This is kind of interesting because if you look back historically, Lucasfilm Games was the original name of the video game development branch of Lucasfilm, which was started by George Lucas himself back in 1982. This was eventually renamed as LucasArts in 1990, kept that name up until 2013, and then at that time, Disney ceased all developments at LucasArts, laid off most of its staff, and diverted all games based on the Star Wars license to Electronic Arts, EA, for development. So, what does it mean that they're revamping and relaunching Lucasfilm Games? It looks like all future Star Wars games are going to be brought together under this single banner, the Lucasfilm Games banner. And then the official announcement states that this was developed in collaboration with the finest studios across the country, or across the industry, rather, which is bigger than the country. Anyways, so again, this is very unclear as to what this means for EA as a publisher, because this announcement implies that Star Wars games may no longer be sticking to an exclusive publisher in the future. Lucasfilm Games launched an official Twitter and Facebook page to coincide with the announcement and promised that the two social pages will deliver breaking news more directly to fans, which is super exciting. Silly fun saying it means better Star Wars games. Probably. I'm super excited for this new development. As long as everybody involved gets paid, but that's a different story. So, this to me seems like a branching out, more so than like a pulling in. You know, launching Lucasfilm Games under this Lucasfilm's banner, etc., means that Disney owns everything. But again, this implication that they're expanding their partnerships to more studios means more competition, it means more funding, it means a lot of things for the game. So, exciting things. It also means that they finally decided that the games are worth investing in. I'm not bitter. So yeah, that's super exciting stuff. And I think it's cool for, you know, just the Lucas legacy to bring the games back in under the banner, because the gaming branch of the Star Wars universe is impactful. It's big. It's important for canon. So yeah, I'm stoked. I think this is good news. Keep an eye out on it because, you know, there's always potential for drama. So we'll see if this, what this means for, again, the Star Wars licensing and relationship with EA Games. And yeah, we'll keep y'all updated. But who's excited for more Star Wars games? Woo! Just me? Okay, it's fine. All right, I've got one last thing to babble about today. And oh, wait, nope. Actually, I'm getting distracted by the chat again. All right. Any mention of Star Wars tabletop games? Not directly and not yet, but Lucasfilm Games is not necessarily bound to a particular type of game, so I'm excited. It's definitely like a possibility out there. We still have oh, okay, I see what happened. So something popped up in the chat just now. We've got a new little Twitch bot that's helping out in the chat, and in order to circumvent trolls, there's limits on emoji usage and symbol usage. So last week we found out that it was cutting comments for too many emojis, but a lot of my really excited people that I love in the chat use a lot of emojis, so we nixed that. But apparently it looks like from my notes there's a symbol limit, and the clapping hands are considered symbols. So sorry, J-Man. We'll check that out too. We're trying to find the correct balance between keeping our chat safe, especially as we have more and more people getting involved, which I love so much. But yeah, it looks like it's the waving or clapping hands or whatever those hands are doing are considered symbols, and so it flagged. Sorry about that, G-Man. Thank you for your support with excessive symbol and emoji usage. I like it. But yeah, we'll work on that. We're constantly tweaking things, so it's good that we know what's going on with that. Anyways, moving right along. Silly Fun saying, so I shouldn't send 5 hearts. Are hearts emojis or symbols? I don't actually know how this algorithm works. I'm still relatively newish to the Twitch. I want to say universe, but that doesn't make any sense. Community! Heyo! I'm getting there. See, I'm learning to human sometimes. Hearts works! You're good! Those must be emojis. Alright, well thank you. I feel very loved. Cool. Anyways, I should focus while I still have something to chat about, right? So the last topic I want to make sure I get out before I get completely derailed. And I don't mean to say that to like discourage y'all from distracting me in the chat, because that's what I live for. So do it. Just also be patient with me for when I get like have to like focus back in. Anywho, all right. So this news is on specifically black PS5 sales from Supers, which is SUP3R5. I'm assuming it's Supers. The black model of the PS5 officially sold out after going on sale on January 8th. However, all orders have now been canceled after the team behind the nostalgic makeover apparently began to receive credible threats to their safety. In a statement via their now deleted Twitter account, the Super team said, "Last night, our team began receiving credible threats to their safety. We take these threats seriously. We are not willing to risk the safety and well-being of our team or the potential impact this would bring on your order." It's unclear where these threats came from, whether the alleged threats were issued by disgruntled customers who maybe missed out on securing a console, or whether Sony stepped in and threatened legal action. So we're not quite sure where those threats are coming from, but a credible threat on somebody's safety kind of leans more towards the private sector rather than the public one. Obviously, we're going to keep an eye out for more information on this, and as we get more information, we'll share it with you guys. And, you know, we're curious as to whether customers are indeed receiving the full refund. Information like, you know, why users... There are some users, at least, who are seemingly unable to delete their payment information. But this is all happening, like I said, fairly quickly, so we'll see kind of how this goes as the days go on. So for those who did order one of the 304 PS2 themed PS5 consoles on sale, all of those orders have been abruptly canceled. So the official release from Supers said, "All existing orders will be canceled and fully refunded in the coming days. We intended this to be a fun way to celebrate a shared nostalgia. As it turns out, there are people out there who are willing to interfere with that." So perhaps unsurprisingly, the black PS5 launch did not go smoothly. Many users encountered payment issues or were charged for pre-orders that weren't actually available. Some users have expressed concerns that they've been unable to delete payment information or are yet to receive their refund, while others who use PayPal have seemingly been rather successful in getting their money back. Production of this black PS5 was limited to just 304 units, and the demand far exceeded expectations, which seems to be an ongoing trend that's becoming very familiar whenever PS5 stock has appeared. So before their official cancellation of all orders, Supers previously apologized on Twitter for the frustration some users were facing and vowed to do better in the future. The team also clarified what will happen to those who were charged mistakenly, though now everyone who placed an order will be refunded. So the statement reads, "If you were charged today but received no confirmation email, your order did not complete. Charges for orders that did not complete will be reversed back to you. This usually happens within 1 day." Despite the disastrous launch, Supers said, "If we determine that it's safe to try again, we will." Any future launches are going to be spread out into smaller batches in order to avoid the same strain on the systems. So the custom console that they're building and accompanying DualSense controller were due to ship in late spring of 2021, and the design reflected the look of the iconic PS2, which still remains the best-selling PlayStation console to date, with 155 million units sold worldwide. Why were there only 304 units made? I don't know. Well, I guess it's reportedly because the PS2 was originally released on 3/4 of 2000. So there was like that nostalgia sense as well as this kind of idea to kind of reflect on that, but it didn't really go as smoothly as hoped. So if you only wanted the DualSense controller, you had a slightly better chance of getting one, as there were 500 units of that up for grabs. So it was pretty easy to predict that the launch was not necessarily going according to plan on January 8th, when a staggering 54,000 people were already on the wait list for the console. 54,000 people wanted 304 units. Math doesn't quite add up. And that's number, like, just kept on rising before the pre-orders went live. So kind of how they had it listed was if you wanted that black PS5, you had to pay a premium of $99 for the DualSense controller, which is usually $69, and $649 for the PS5 console, which is usually $499. So there was a decent upcharge for this particular launch, for the nostalgia aspect, for, the special features. Still a lot less, by the way, than the gold PS5 that costs over $10,000, which, why, again, and things that I don't quite understand why they exist. Somebody's gonna purchase it, why not? So yeah, this was one of those instances where things didn't necessarily go as planned. Part of the reason that things did not go as planned was because it was a more successful launch than they could even fathom. The fact that this turned so negative so quickly is a little bit concerning because I can definitely understand frustration in that, you know, and you have something that you kind of want, you have this like ideal whatever, and you find out that you can't get it. That's frustrating. If you find something you want and you go to purchase it and then something goes a little wonky, that's scary and frustrating. I understand all of that, but to make the kind of threats that then cause an entire company to cancel a launch, that's a really big deal. Also worth noting that there was already a risk of, you know, kind of copyright deals with Sony as well. Sony already shut down a retailer that was selling custom PS5 faceplates last year. However, the popular skin maker D-Brand challenged the company to stop its attempts at selling black PS5 faceplates. So there's been ongoing legal battles. Anyways, if you're still looking for a PS5, because of all of the legal battles in place, and apparently people have gone a little bit, you know, wonky with threats, check out a verified retailer. GameStop, Target, etc. They're selling the PS5s. You know, just the regular ones, not the fancy retrofitted ones. But yeah, this is something where, again, it's just been a little bit disheartening to see people's responses to certain things. Yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye out, like I said, on this particular topic to see if more information comes to light, if Sony was involved in, if this was like kind of legal threats. From the wording, it does not sound that way to me personally. Yeah, if they're talking about the safety and well-being of their team, that sounds like very targeted threats. And again, while I understand frustration in the face of things not working as smoothly as you would want, I don't think I will ever understand that kind of response. I've been seeing a lot recently, information, just, I feel like it goes along with this idea that the internet is somehow separate from real life. The fact that, you know, things said online you can't be held accountable for, or, you know, a lot of people speak in a way and threaten in a way online that they wouldn't necessarily, or they know better than to speak in person. And yeah, this idea that, like I said, that you're untouchable online, or that it's not impactful because it's online, it's not true. And so, yeah, I don't know what kind of threats were made, but I don't blame the company for backing out if they feel legitimately threatened. So yeah, it turned a situation that was already a little bit frustrating, but had the potential to get better. If you take a company that's got, you know, 500 units of something to sell, and there's like that much desire for it, then, you know, the laws of supply and demand means that they could make a batch in the future that's a much larger batch to appease the rest of people, because they now have like the ability to do so, and the knowledge that it'll sell, etc. But instead, it was taken to this like extreme measures of like scariness that caused them to just cancel the whole thing. So here's to hoping that things get worked out, that they're able to do a solid, safe launch in the future, and maybe this can be like a little bit of a just warning to humans in general. Just like, I don't know, can we just be kind? I understand frustration, but like, let's not threaten other humans when we don't, you know, when we're frustrated. And then maybe, like I said, things that allows things to get better in the future instead of having to be shut down. So, To all the people who were interested in and unable to get their PS5s from Supers, I'm sorry, and that's a bummer. And keep an eye out because they are working on full refunds and everything for everybody. And to all the people at Supers, sorry for that too, because that's a scary place to be. So yeah, catching up with the chat real quick. G-Man can't wait until we can lose the glasses again. Is that still there? Is that still an option? Are you just waiting until you have like enough points or however that works? And then Silly Fun saying that the gold PS5 is to go with the gold toilet one has. Why? I mean, yes. But why? I mean, I suppose the answer, if you have enough money, is why not. But, you know, do you know how many tacos? Do you know how many tacos you can purchase with what you would put towards a golden toilet or a golden PS5? $10,000. It's a lot of tacos. That's like, well, if you get the dollar tacos from a street vendor, that's 10,000 tacos! Which clearly I care a lot about. Anyways, and then Silly Fun also says, this is why we can't have nice things, quoting Taylor Swift. Very true. Be kind. That's like the moral of the story. Just be kind. Humans are worth being kind to. They really are. Humans fascinate me. So yeah, that's all I really have for today's episode of eSpot Live. As always, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and then also on behalf of DVSI Entertainment as a whole. We are just so grateful for your continued support and for your patience when things go a little wonky and for not making threats. I want to support and promote a particular streamer again, so I'm going to go ahead and chuck in a link in the chat. Today's streamer that I'm going to talk up is Zodiac Siren. Zodiac Siren, she's best known for playing Minecraft and Dead by Daylight. She's working very hard to reach that partner level on Twitch, which we're super excited about. Gonna go ahead and shove this in the chat. Nope, wrong button. That button. There we go. Boom! I went ahead and threw a link into the chat. Go ahead and check out Zodiac Siren. She's our most popular streamer. She's got 2.2 thousand followers. She's got very great, very kind community, which is, again, one of the things that I've loved about being part of this community is the awesome people. So it's a good community to join. Her goal is to one day be recognized by the popular Minecraft group Hermitcraft and to be an entertaining content producer. So be sure to give her, as well as our other devious streamers listed below, a follow. Just check out, we've got the full list, bottom of the page. But again, just like for today, check out Zodiac Siren, especially if that's your thing. But like, check her out, see if you like it, give her a follow, help her reach that partner goal. Yeah, that's all I have. I will be back. Obviously. I stream every Monday, every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 3 p.m. if you live on the other coast. I'm out of focus again. Rodney keeps stealing my focus. Hold up. Gotta put him by my face. Did it work? I don't know. The camera knows. The camera knows that Rodney is the star of the show. Yeah, every Monday, Thursday, I'm live on Twitch and YouTube, and so I will be back later in the week, and I look forward to seeing or being seen by y'all on Thursday. In the meantime, make sure that you're staying safe and happy and healthy and kind. Happy Monday to you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, night, whatever it is where you are. Thank you for everything. Much love to y'all. And stay devious.